Hello, Rama Rama Pupod. Hope all are in good health, feeling great, wonderful, having a happy and peaceful life. Now let's continue with the next story. I remember Venkataramani's firm belief that Sri Shankara possesses prophetic insight. It touches my fancy to press for some opinion about the world's future. When do you think that the political and economic conditions everywhere will begin to improve? A change for the better is not easy to come by quickly, he replies. It is a process which must needs take some time. How can things improve when the nations spend more each year on the weapons of death? There is nevertheless much talk of disarmament today. Does that count? If you scrap your battleships and let your cannons rust, that will not stop war. People will continue to fight even if they have to use sticks. But what can be done to help matters? Nothing but spiritual understanding between one nation and another, and between rich and poor, will produce goodwill and thus bring real peace and prosperity. That seems far off. Our outlook is hardly cheerful then. His Holiness rests his arm a little more heavily upon his staff. There is still God, he remarks gently. If there is, he seems very far away. I boldly protest. God has nothing but love towards mankind, comes the soft answer. Judging by the unhappiness and wretchedness which afflict the world today, he has nothing but indifference. I break out impulsively, unable to keep the bitter force of irony out of my voice. His Holiness looks at me strangely. Immediately I regret my hasty words. The eyes of a patient man sees deeper. God will use human instruments to adjust matters at the appointed hour. The turmoil among nations, the moral wickedness among people, and the suffering of miserable millions will provoke, as a reaction, some greatly divine inspired man to come to the rescue. In this sense, every century has its own savior. The process works like a law of physics. The greater the wretchedness caused by spiritual ignorance, materialism, the greater will be the man who will arise to help the world. Then do you expect someone to arise in our time too? In our century, he corrects. Assuredly, the need of the world is so great and its spiritual darkness is so thick that an inspired man of God will surely arise. Is it your opinion then that men are becoming more degraded? I query. No, I do not think so. He replies tolerantly. There is an indwelling divine soul in man which, in the end, must bring him back to God. But there are ruffians in our western cities who behave as though there were indwelling demons in them. I counter, thinking of the modern gangster. Do not blame people so much as the environments into which they are born. Their surroundings and circumstances force them to become worse than they really are. That is true of both the East and West. Society must be brought into tune with a higher note. Materialism must be balanced by idealism. There is no other real cure for the world's difficulties. The troubles into which countries are everywhere being plunged are really the agonies which will force this change, just as failure is frequently a signpost pointing to another road. Let's continue the next chapter. Thank you. Bye bye. Rama Rama Puput.